the wake of the Abdulahi Hassan Sharif terror attack in Edmonton in 2017, bureaucrats were worried about the best politically correct phraseology to use, and they were worried the media was suddenly falling out of love with them. And we have the exclusive immigration, refugees, and citizenship documents to prove it. Rebel News has just received 249 exclusive access to information documents about Abdulahi Hassan Sharif from the folks at Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada. You remember him, don't you? Now, if you don't, that's okay. The mainstream media has done a really great job of helping you to forget him. Here's a refresher from our friends at TNC News. Sharif is alleged to have gone on a terror rampage in September 2017, first ramming his car into Edmonton Police Constable Mike Chernick, then stabbing him multiple times, and later of intentionally plowing a rental truck through pedestrian walkways and running over 4 people. The flag of the terrorist group ISIS was found in the truck by police. Sharif is a Somali national who managed to enter Canada despite the fact that the U.S. had ordered his removal from there to Somalia back in 2011. Canada's screening system failed to catch him after he fled from immigration enforcement in the United States. Sharif was granted refugee status here, even though he may have been running from the law in the United States. But Sharif's crimes, well, they're not alleged anymore because he was found guilty of 5 counts of attempted murder in October. For some inexplicable reason, Sharif was never charged with terrorism-related crimes, despite that ISIS flag in the truck he used to run over people. Now, in the wake of Sharif's arrest, we asked Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada for any communications they had about him. We just received those documents now. I am slowly combing through these exclusive documents, and these documents are a real treasure trove of information about the government's priorities as the facts about Sharif were coming out. They were in full spin mode. The real priority for the government wasn't making sure they were transparent with a public that was desperate for facts about who Sharif was, how he got into Canada, what exactly he had done and why he did it. Instead, the folks at Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada, and to some extent Public Safety Canada, were worried about managing the PR nightmare they had on their hands, and I will detail all of that in the coming days. However, I came across a couple of things so ridiculous and so perfectly Trudeau that I had to share them with you today. Bureaucrats were fussing over inclusive language and then panicking because some of the media was questioning the systemic failure that allowed Sharif into Canada in the first place. First, the bureaucrats were perplexed by which politically correct phrase to use to describe an exploitative immigration crime, which is pretty much a perfect encapsulation of where liberals tend to focus their attention when serious issues, like an ISIS-inspired terror attack and attempted murder of 5 people, including a cop in a major Canadian city, are unfolding right before them. It's right here on page 76. The immigration bureaucrats are talking back and forth about a speech on information sharing in the Sharif case. Here's the email that caught my eye. It's from the Senior Communications Advisor for Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada. Looks good to me. Just one thing. Do we use the term people trafficking or smuggling instead of human trafficking or smuggling? If so, why? Just curious. By the way, it's people kind trafficking, okay? Put that in the immigration style guide. Okay, here are the next couple of emails that show just how insular immigration, refugees, and citizenship bureaucrats are, and how they only seem to care about whether or not the media is critical of their failing system, not so much if the system is really working to protect Canadians. Again, this is between 2 communication staffers at IRCC. The first email on page 75 reads, I have an urgent memo and need your opinion. Would you say that the media has been critical of Canada's security and screening processes lately, with the case of Sharif in Edmonton and changes to front-end security screening? And the reply, the one story that comes to mind is, and then the name of the journalist here is redacted, but I think I know exactly who they're talking about here, of the Toronto Sun, who has said in more than one column that Canada should not have allowed him in. CBSA was their main target. Overall, I think it's fair to say that the media have questioned the screening system since the Edmonton system, and some stories have been critical. Now, the one person who is really doing the investigative digging and leveling some well-deserved criticism at the entire immigration system and the CBSA at the Toronto Sun at the time was Candice Malcolm, who is also the head of TNC News. And that, friends, is why Justin Trudeau did his very best to keep us and TNC News out of those federal leaders' debates. Our respective organizations are doing the kind of investigative journalism that is spooking bureaucrats in the darkest of cubicles of government offices. Now, tomorrow and Monday, I'll bring you the rest of the damning information in these access to information documents. For Rebel News, I'm Sheila Gunn Reid. We do investigative journalism here at Rebel News that you will not see done in the mainstream media. One of the best ways to support our independent journalism gets you a little something in return. Just treat yourself to a Rebel subscription. You'll get access to our premium content, including my weekly show, The Gun Show, and you get to help us pay the bills. Just go to premium.rebelnews.com.